Okay, so before I proceed with the course, let me just explain few frequently asked questions about Selenium as a tool, that how we should be learning it and what are the good ways and the right practice. Okay, right. The first frequently asked question is what all will be taught in the course. Okay, now before I move ahead, guys, there's one thing. If in case you want to ask any question, you can actually scroll your mouse on the top, unmute yourself and ask it, and mute yourself after that, or you can also use the chat option. Okay, I'll just send a hi message to everyone on the chat. Now, what all will be taught in this course? Well, we'll be covering WebDriver, frameworks, Maven, and TestNG, Jenkins, Grid. This is just an overview that what all we'll be doing. Right, framework means a project. Okay, we'll be doing an end-to-end framework in this class. Okay, will I get access to the video tutorials? Yes, you will get access to all the videos, the pre-recorded ones, as well as the ones which we record in this class. Okay, I am recording the current session as well. Right. Another question which is very frequently asked is Java required? I don't know programming. Well, you cannot run away from Java. Okay, it is required. Core Java is required, and whatever Java we are going to teach you in the course will be more than enough. Okay, right. So look, you just cannot run away from it. Although many people are afraid of it, there is nothing to be afraid. It's something which just requires time. That's it. Being manual testers, we don't have that much exposure to Java, but it's quite easy. It's something which requires time. That's it. Okay, I need help in my project. I want to clear an interview. What should I do? Look, this is a simple. The answer to this question is very simple. If you just want to learn this tool for the sake of learning, it takes around 10 days to learn this tool. Okay, but if you want to learn this to a level where you can actually clear an interview, okay, you require time. Okay, you need nearly 6 to 8 weeks to do that. To reach a level where you can work on a project or you can clear an interview, it takes time, right? This course of ours will be around 25 to 30 hours. It will take around 6 to 7 weeks to complete it. Okay, and 50% of the course will be concentrated on WebDriver, Java, TestNG, Grid, and all. And 50% of the course will be concentrating on a framework, which is basically an end-to-end project. Okay, and can you also provide some kind of live project? So that's what the framework is all about. So this is a very frequently asked question as well. If you want to get the link of this Excel, here is the link. I will give it to you on chat. Hold on. You can look at this Excel file from this chat. All right. The timings for this batch would be 8 to 10 p.m. Indian time every Saturday and Sunday, which becomes in the Eastern time 10:30 a.m. to 12:30 noon in the Eastern time zone. So if you're in Pacific, it will be at 7:30 in the morning. Okay. So um, anybody with any other question regarding the course, regarding anything, you can unmute yourself, you can ask, or you can use the chat option. Please feel free to ask any question. Anyone? Many of the people out here are the ones who had purchased the videos earlier and now they are coming. I hope you have some background as well. Anything from anyone? Nothing? Okay, let's move ahead. Right. Today is the first day and I'll be taking few basic stuff. Maybe you are aware of it, but I have to do it because there are people over here who are not fully aware of things. Right. So we'll start off with the very basic things. Okay, there's a question being asked that will all the new, hold on. The question is, will all the new updates in Selenium WebDriver will be covered in the session? Yes, of course, we'll be covering, but as far as the updates in WebDrivers are concerned, the major updates, there hasn't been any major update. Okay, the official website of Selenium is seleniumhq.org. Okay, this is the official website. If you go over here, the first line says that Selenium automates browsers. So this is a browser automation testing tool. It is not there for desktop applications, right? If you go to the download section over here, you click on this download link and you scroll down, you will see for Java language, the right version right now is 3.5.2, and you'll find a link for changelog. Okay, the changelogs tells you that how this tool has changed over a period of time. Okay, how this has changed. You click on change log and you'll be able to see it. Right. The right now the version is 3.5.2. Okay, so the versions have changed, and um, majorly there have been bug fixes. Okay, you can see everything which has changed. Not major, no major functionality has been changed except few of them. Right. Look, the thing is, I'll tell you what happened over a period of time because I've been working on this tool since 2007. Okay. Earlier, what we had was we had a tool known as Selenium RC. Okay, which is also known as Selenium 1.0. There were major drawbacks in this RC. Okay, simply starting a server and launching the browser used to be a headache, and many of the major commands were too complicated. Okay, I don't want to go inside it, but yes, there were problems inside Selenium RC. Okay, then what happened was in August around 2011, Selenium WebDriver came in the market. Okay, Selenium 2.0. Right. And it was a major role change. It was not a migration from RC to WebDriver, but WebDriver was a completely new tool. Okay. And last year, somewhere in August 2016, Selenium WebDriver 3.0 came up. Right now, it is stable. It's been stable since past 2 months or something. Earlier, it was very unstable. There are few new features in 3.0 and all. We'll study about them. Okay, and if you look at the change logs, the last final release of 2.x version was 2.53. After 2.53, they came up with Selenium 3.0. This 2.53 was very stable build. Okay, right. Selenium is an open source tool. Okay, nobody is responsible if your application is not working with Selenium properly. So what was the problem with 3.0 beta was that there were a lot of bugs, and there are companies which are still using 2.53. Okay, because 3.x had lot of bugs. This was the most stable release, but right now the current release, which is 3.5.2, is quite stable. I've seen it. It is really stable. Okay, simple things like pop-up management or even writing in a drop-down management, those were not working in Selenium 3 when it was released. Okay, so in this training we will use 3.52. Okay, in past training I was using 2.53 because it was 3.x was unstable, but in this training I will be using the latest version, which is 3.5.2. Okay, right. Now, apart from these things, there are other components in Selenium. For example, Selenium IDE is there. It is still there. Okay. Selenium IDE is a tool which only works on Mozilla, first of all. It's primarily a record and run tool. It will generate you no reports, nothing. Okay. Right. Look, nobody uses IDE practically because, first of all, it's only dependent on one browser, and primarily it's a record and run tool. if you know, then record and run feature is there in every automation tool, and it's not a very good feature because these days applications are very dynamic. You record the application, tomorrow it changes. For example, a website like bbc.com, it's a news website, it changes every day. You just cannot use record and run over there. Okay, and we also have Selenium GRID 3. The latest version is GRID 3. Okay, GRID is used to parallelly execute the test cases. Okay, you make a central machine. Okay, connect other machines to this machine. Okay, and you distribute your test cases across different machines, and the test cases, they execute parallelly. Okay, right? So this is GRID 3. All right, so we'll study GRID as well. Right. Now, what is the objective of this course? The objective of this course is to build a framework. Okay, there are different types of frameworks, like data driven is there, keyword driven, or preferably we use the hybrid framework, which is mixture of data driven and keyword driven. Then you have got page object model, you have got cucumber, BDD. So in this training, I will be covering one type of framework because it takes a really long time to explain a framework. The rest of the frameworks you can also do from the pre-recorded sessions, right? Along with the training, we will give you access to our website. Okay, and look, I'm just giving you the information right now. I'll start teaching you as well. This is just a icebreaker going on, so just give me 5 minutes. Right, you get access to all these videos which are there on our website. Okay, and if you look at, say, the video number 20, it is the data driven framework, or the video number 21, it is the TestNG framework. It's over 8 hours. Right now it is over 20 hours. I have not updated the timings. Right, and page object model is around 7 hours, so it is quite elaborate. Okay, right. So look, GRID, Krishna, GRID is something which helps you to run the test cases parallelly across different machines to slow down the, or to reduce the execution time. So I will be teaching GRID as well, that how you can parallelly execute the test cases. It's basically configuration, nothing else. So anyone with any questions? Anyone? Okay, now what is a framework? Okay, there's a question being asked. What is a framework? Well, um, okay, I'll tell you. Look, first of all, what is automation? Why do we automate? When do we automate? And why do we automate? The first question is very important. When do we automate? I'm just going towards some other side, right? Look, this is, yeah, I'll cover how to, I'll tell you everything about Eclipse, Nupur. How do you debug? How do you do everything? I'll tell you. Okay, look, automation is preferred during the regression phase of the testing, where the project is stable. This was the original idea of automation when it came in 2000s, beginning of 2000s, right? So the regression phase, where when the project was stable enough and it had very few bugs in it, okay, you automate the project. But right now, people have started using it in agile during the development phase of the project as well, which according to me as a person, it's a bad practice. Okay, right, hold on, Siddharth, just 1 minute. Okay, look, the thing is, if you take 5 minutes to test a project manually, then to write a script for the project might take you 2 hours. And if the project is unstable and if it is changing every time, then the amount of time you'll be spending to change your script will be huge, and that causes a problem. So that is why automation is always there in the regression phase. Okay, and we only you check the functional part in automation. We don't check the colors of the websites, we don't check the, all those minute details, only the functional part, because when the project is stable we automate it. A stable project means that everything on the project is okay. This is the major crux of automation. People have changed it to a lot of different, in a very different way. They use it in agile and then they realize that fine, it was a foolishness to use it in agile. So that's the thing, right? Now what do we, or how do we automate? Look, when we automate, we have the requirements ready with us, we have the manual test cases ready with us. Okay, so suppose we make scripts. Okay, these are my scripts. Okay, say test case 1, then test case 2, then test case 3, test case 4. Okay, now I have a requirement that I want to execute these scripts one by one after another, or I want to execute them parallelly. Or sometimes you have a requirement that you don't have to execute one test case, you have to execute one test case in the script, jump over to the third one, and you want to skip some other test case. Okay, yes, I'll give you exercises, I'll give you everything. Okay, there's a question being asked that whether I'll be giving exercises and all. Yes, I will be giving, but not immediately after 2 classes or something. Okay, apart from this, we have the requirement that the data which we have, generally the data is read from Excel file in 95% of the cases, or it is read from the database as well, or it is read from XML. Okay, for database you will have to use JDBC and all, so it's your requirement, it depends on your project. Okay, so you have to fetch the data from some external file, okay, or a properties file as well. Sometimes people use properties file or a text file, right? And apart from that, you have the requirement that you have to generate reports. You have to generate proper reports with logs, with screenshots of errors and all, everything, an HTML report having description of each and every test case which got executed. For example, hold on. This is a report. Okay, hold on. Yeah, so over here all the test cases are written, right? And these are known as XSLT reports. For each test case with the time, the logs are printed, that what happened at every moment. I was opening the browser and I was logging in with the default, I was navigating to the URL, and if some error comes up, the error should be in the reports, and there should be a screenshot of the error also in the reports. Okay, so we want something like this. Every test case is detailedly viewed, and you have got the graphical format, and also you need a proper report with logs. Logs are important, that what happened at every moment, right? Apart from that, you have the requirement that you have to integrate this framework maybe with Grid or Jenkins, right? Okay, Jenkins, I'll not go into details what Jenkins is. Right now, I'm just writing. Okay. So to facilitate all these things, you use a centralized controller. This centralized controller can be JUnit or a testng, or there are BDD tools like Cucumber is there, JBehave is there, right? So what this centralized controller does is that it reads the data from the data source and it calls the test case respectively in some order and passes the data to it, right? Apart from that, It generates the reports, helps you to run it with Jenkins, Grid, everything. Okay, as a tool, TestNG is very famous these days. We'll be doing TestNG. Okay, in companies. The remaining tools I've covered them in the recorded videos. If you want to learn the remaining tools, you can learn. So this in a nutshell is a working of a framework. And there are different design strategies to build a framework like data driven, hybrid, page object model. So we'll cover that. This in the nutshell, I'm just telling you this thing. Okay. So this is the main objective or the main goal of the whole training. All right. Now, the biggest problem with people, which what I've seen is the problem of learning Java language. Okay. In this training, I'll be covering Java and Selenium parallelly. Moreover, in the pre-recorded sessions which you have, if you have the access, then watch the videos 1 to 7. They are on Java. It will help you a lot. Okay. Moreover, if you learn Selenium, right, then learning other tools becomes really easy. For example, if you tomorrow, if you have to learn SOAP UI, which is for web services, right, or you have to learn Appium tool, which is for mobile automation, or if you want to you learn JMeter, anything, then learning these tools it becomes easy because you have some programming background, you have some knack. So you have to jump in somewhere and start learning. Okay, now let's start with the course. Okay, anybody with any questions? There was a question being asked. Hold on. Does JDBC come into the picture? It can be anything, Siddharth. You can put the data in JDBC or in Excel. Mostly people prefer Excel. All right. So, day one and day two will be covering today. Okay, right. There is no answer to this. Which framework is most widely used? It depends on your application. It depends on the requirements. Right. It's not that one framework is good or other framework is bad. Everything is equally used. Okay. Right. Now, I just covered a brief introduction, course FAQs, brief history of Selenium, why is Java important. Right. Yeah, Nupur, I'll tell you. Yeah. You can use my access SQL DB as well. It depends on the requirements, Ragul. You can use any data source. Okay. Okay, there's a question being asked, how is Selenium advantageous over QTP? Well, the only advantage which I feel is that Selenium is free. Otherwise, QTP is a way better tool than Selenium. It got way better features. Okay, you can run your scripts one between, and anytime QTP is a better tool than Selenium. If you go by my opinion, I started my career with QTP. Okay, and it's anytime better than Selenium because it's got way better features, but it's paid. It's very expensive. That's the only problem. Okay, right. Okay, now the first thing is that for Java you have to install JDK. So please download the complete JDK, not just JRE. Go to Google and download JDK. Okay, this is the complete Java development kit. Go to the first link, and on the first link download JDK. This is the link, and download it for your OS 632-bit, 64-bit Windows, 32-bit or Mac, anything. Simply accept the agreement, install it. Second thing is you need to download the editor for Java, okay, which is Eclipse. Okay, just type. Most of you must be having Eclipse, right? You can download any version of Eclipse. It doesn't matter. It's for Selenium. Okay, right. You can go here and download for 32-bit or 64-bit, anything, right? I have this Eclipse. Hold on. Hold on. The Eclipse will come as a bundle. You extract the zip file and you'll see eclipse.exe. Start it. You don't have to install it. It comes as a bundle. Okay, right. And after starting it, you'll see a window like this. Okay, and in this window, this is the path. This is known as the workspace path, the place where you will be storing all the code. Okay, so you choose the location. For example, I'll choose the location as August weekend 2017. Okay, so this is the place where I'll be storing all the code, and you start up Eclipse. Download the latest one. Okay, whatever gets downloaded. It doesn't matter. You can also use 5 years old version. It really doesn't matter because Selenium as a tool is a very small tool, and Eclipse has got great features, so you don't have to worry. Okay, hold on. So this is the welcome screen of Eclipse, right? You can close this, right? And it's got these Project Explorer over here. Hold on, just a minute. No, you can use Luna. It doesn't matter. You can use any thing. I'll close this. Right. So in Eclipse, this is the Project Explorer. We'll be keeping the projects over here. Right. And you can use anything, Pavan, Luna, Neon, Mars, any version you can use. Okay. Right. Now you'll not face any difficulties. Okay. So you go to File, New, and go to Other. Okay. Under Other, you will see Java, and you make a simple Java project. Okay, make a simple Java project, and I'll name this day one. So you will see the day one project over here. Okay, you expand it, you will see the source folder and all. If you right click on this project, right click on the project, you will see a lot of these options. I will gradually tell you what these options are, so you don't have to worry. Okay, there is a properties tab in the end. Click on that and you will see a window like this which will give you the project properties. Okay, right. And out here, if you look at the location, right, this is the project location. Fine. And you can hold on just a minute. Yeah, you can actually copy this location and open it. Right. Okay, so you will see this window opens up. There are different folders. The source folder is visible in Eclipse. The rest of them are not. I'll tell you what these are. Dot project file means that this is a Eclipse project. If I delete this file, this project will not open in Eclipse. Okay, right. So you don't have to worry. Only source folder is the main folder in which we'll be storing all the code. Right. Inside the source folder, I'll make a new Java file. Most of you must have done this. Okay, you can create a new class. I will just name it as basics with the main function. Click on this checkbox, right, and you will have this Java file. I'll just improve the font size so that it's visible. right? Now I am assuming you know the basics. You know what integer is, you know what string is, you know what if statement is, you know what for loop is. Main function is the function in which the control comes up for the first time. What is static, what is public, I will explain you these things in some time as we proceed with object oriented programming. Okay, right. Now everything like like every programming language you have got integers, strings, everything in Java as well. If you have to print something, the command is system.out.println. Okay, right. And right, you can run this program through this run button on the top. Okay, you click on this and it will run and give you the output. Fine. So I'm assuming you know basic things. Right. The shortcut to type system.out.println is syso and then control spacebar. Okay. Syso and control spacebar. All right. Now what happens is that if you look at your project over here in the source folder, you will be able to see basics.java file. All right. And there is a folder known as bin. In the bin folder, you will be seeing basics.class file. Every Java file is converted to a class file. If you open this, you won't be able to read what is written inside it. Okay, right. So it's not readable. All right, but this class file is like an executable file. You can deploy it on any operating system and you can run it. Okay, Java is a platform independent language because this class file which gets generated can be executed on any operating system. I can take it to Linux, Unix, any operating system. Right. If I make one more Java file over here, I'll create a new Java file known as say print name.java. Okay, inside it I just write system.out.println learning basics. And if I run this code, it prints learning basics at the bottom. And in the bin folder, you will see print name.class file generated automatically. Okay, right. Now, what happens is that when you have a project with you, a big project, right? So, yeah, you can say not exactly bytecode. It's not 1010 Sneha. It's got its own interpretable language. Okay. So what happens is that when you have a big code, you have got many class files. When you have a big project, and these class files, they have to be given to a client. So we bundle all these classes into a single file, and this single file is known as a jar file. A jar file is nothing but collection of many class files, and then we give this single jar file to the client. Okay, if you look at your project, in your project there is a source folder and JRE system library. This JRE system library is nothing but Java which was installed on your PC, the latest JDK which I told you to install. If you expand this, it will have lot of jar files. These are the Java jar files. Each jar file has got many class files in it which we can use. These are pre-made functionalities in Java which we can use. For example, if I just write over here system.out.println new date, okay, I'll import this date class java.util.date. What is new? Just don't, you know, try to understand what I have done, what is meant by new. But I have used a date class which is present in one of these jars. Okay, every jar has got a lot of class files. When I run this program, what happens is that in the output it prints me, or it gives me, the current system date, time, everything. Okay, right. I never had to do the rocket science. Okay, I never had to write the code and all, everything was inbuilt. I used the inbuilt feature, the inbuilt class, right? So Selenium is also like this. You don't make something in Selenium, everything is inbuilt. You need to use the internal classes of Selenium. You need to know what they do. You need to know the internal commands of Selenium, and that's it. Okay, if you go to the official website of Selenium and go to the download section, fine. And over here for Java language, you will find the Java doc link. If you click on this Java doc, you will have this documentation of Selenium. This documentation tells you about all the internal classes, everything in Selenium. But to learn this documentation, to read this, you need to understand the concepts of object-oriented programming. We will study those as well. Okay, so you have to note this point that everything in Selenium is inbuilt. Okay, and you have to learn the inbuilt stuff, the inbuilt commands, like I use the command for getting the date. Okay, right. Now you can download the latest jar files for Selenium. Selenium comes in form of jar files. You can download this latest jar version. Hold on. So Selenium has got no exe file. There is no exe to install Selenium. You have to configure the jar files in Eclipse. That's it. The way you have the jar files of Java, these come default with every project you make. Right, for Selenium, you have to import the jar files in Eclipse after downloading them from the Selenium website. Okay, so out here, hold on, sorry, I'll hold on. I'll store these jars over here. Right, now when you extract it, this is the main jar file. Client combined 3.5.2 node ps.jar. This is the main jar file of Selenium. Apart from that, the other jar files are in the lib folder. Okay, there are many other jar files as well. So you need to go to this location and you need to import the jar files of Selenium into this project to make this project Selenium enabled. Okay, for that you need to right click on the project and go to the properties of the project again. And there's a third option on the top, Java build path, right? And there are various tabs. Go to the libraries tab, all right, and click on add external jars button, and you can import the main jar file, which is this one. And also don't forget to import the other jars in the lib folder. Sometimes people they forget this. Please import all the lib jars as well. And once you do it, you will see the referenced libraries section generated over here, having all the jar files of Selenium. If you don't see this, make sure that in Eclipse You are in the Java perspective. Okay, this is the Java perspective. If you're not in the Java perspective, then hold on, click on this icon. Okay, right, click on this and make sure you have selected Java from here. Okay, and you will get all the jar files under reference library section. So now you have to study what is there inside these jars, how these jars are used to automate a project, how do we fire the Selenium commands. Before I do that, I have to start with the concept of object-oriented programming. Oops. What are objects? How they are made? All right. I have to teach you about objects. Now, anyone with any questions till now? Before I teach you about object-oriented programming. Okay, how did you link the reference libraries? Okay, right click on the project, go to the properties and go to libraries tab and add external jars. Add all these jars and also this single jar. Okay, and you will see the reference library section over here having all the jar files. All right, even that single Selenium jar is giving me the results. Yes, obviously it will give you the results. Okay, there is a Selenium standalone jar as well. You can download the latest version. Okay, and it will give you the same results, but this jar we generally use when we have to use Selenium GRID. Okay, it has got a Selenium server which is required in remote Selenium WebDriver, which basically is Selenium GRID. Okay, the jars which you download from here, they don't have the GRID functionalities. Otherwise, the commands will work. When I teach you Selenium GRID, I will use this jar file. But right now, for just learning simple Selenium commands, you can use this one as well, or you can use the above one as well. It's completely your choice. Any questions? Right? Fine. Now, what do you mean by object-oriented programming? And how objects are formed and what roles they perform, especially when you're working with Selenium? Right? Now, suppose I make a class. I make a new class known as, say, a very simple car.java. What are the features of the car? The name of the car. Okay. The price of the car. Right. And I'll make one more class over here known as test car with the main function. The test car class has the main function, so it can be executed. Any class with the main function can be executed. The car class has got no main function, just two properties, name and price. Now what I'm going to do is that I'm going to create object of car class out here. I've created two objects of car class. This is how you create the object new and the name of the car class. I've created two objects. Now what do you mean by creating an object? What happens in the memory when you create an object? Okay, in the memory an object is created, two objects will be created, and every object will have name and price properties. Alright, each of the objects will have the name and the price property which is there in the class car. But you cannot access these objects. To access these objects, you need to have object references. Alright, so you create an object reference like this. Say car C1 equals to this, car C2 equals to this. So C1 will point here and C2 will point here. So these are object references. Object is different than object reference. Object reference can be used to access the object. For example, if I write C1 dot, I'll get the option name. I can call it car A. Krishna, just don't understand, try to understand what public is, what class is, what static is. I'll tell you all these things. This is the class test car. This is the scope of the class. Whatever you are writing, you'll be writing inside it. All the functions and all. This main is a function. Okay? Main is a function. The control comes up in this function when you run the program for the first time. Okay. What static is, I'll discuss with you. Ragul, you don't need to link. It's in the same project, it's already linked. You don't need to link test car with car. It's in the same project. It's already there. It will be able to understand. So you create the object of the car C1 dot name A, then you can write C1 dot price 200. Then you can link car C2 dot name B, C2 dot price 300. Okay, right. So what will happen is that in the memory, this will be A, this will become 200, this will be B, and this will become 300. So every object will have its own set of properties. Okay, right. Car is a class. Car is a simple class, and I have got two properties, name and price, inside that class. We make the object of the car class. In the test car class, I have made the object of the car class like this. Car C1 equals to new car. New car, if you write like this, it creates the object of the car class in the memory. And C1 over here is pointing towards that object. So I write C1 dot name, C1 dot price, C2 dot name, C2. So I've created two objects over here. Are you getting my point? Similarly, I can create any number of objects, C3. And I can write C3 dot name is say car C. C3 dot price is 400. So what will happen? There will be another object whose name becomes C, sorry, C, and price becomes 400, and the reference name C3 is pointing towards it. Although the car class has just got two properties, by creating multiple objects of this car class, I can initialize every property in a different way. Okay. Now object and object reference is different. I can also write like this: car C4 equals to null. That means C4 is a reference of the car class somewhere over here. Null means that it is not pointing towards any object. You can say, Siddharth, yes, you can say something like that to just make yourself understand. So I can make C4 point towards the class car object on the next line. Okay, right. So it's completely your choice. You can make an object reference not point towards any object, and later on you can make it point towards an object, or you can directly create the object like this: C3 equals to new car. Now if object and object reference, they are different, I can write C1 equals to C2. What does this mean now? This means that C1 will no longer point here, and C1 will point towards the same object C2 was pointing. So one object can have multiple references as well. If I write over here C1 dot name, okay, and C2 dot name, C3 dot, before write this line, if I write this and I run my program, so this will print A, B and C. If I write the same thing after this line and I run it, it prints B, B, C, because both C1 and C2 now they point towards the same object. Okay. Right. No, this is not related to call by a value or call by reference. Any one of them, C1 or C2, can change the state of the object. If I write C1 dot name is Z and I print this again, then C2 dot name will also become Z, because both of them are pointing towards the same object. C1 and C2 both will print Z. All right. Fine. Let's do one thing. In a project, I can use one file, right? I can use the car file in the other files as well. That's the use of having the project. The files, they are automatically interlinked. Okay? Yes. Yes. All right. Now, If there is a function, say public void start, this is a function. I'm assuming you know what a function is in programming. In case you don't know what a function is, then you can watch the module number 2. It is free for everyone. Okay, in module 2 I've shown what a function is, right? So hold on. Yes, you can use them, Santosh. I'll teach you everything, right? So in the start function, if I write system.out.println starting car and the name of the car, so this function start will become the part of every object. Okay, right? And in case C1 calls it C1 dot start, C2 dot start, and C3 dot start. If you run this, it will print. Hold on, I'll put it in the end. It will print starting car Z, Z, and C. So C1 dot start will print the name of C1. Okay, C1 name was in the end, it was Z, C2 name was also Z, C3 was Z. So the corresponding name will be accessed. Okay, technically this is known as a non-static global variable. This is also a non-static, and this is known as a non-static function. Okay, global variable means that it is not a part of a function. Okay, it is declared outside the function. All right, fine. So now suppose I have a variable, say int wheels, right? So I can initialize this variable for every object. I can write c1 dot wheels 4, c2 dot wheels 4, c3 dot wheels 4, but it doesn't make any sense. We all know that all the cars will have 4 wheels. Then why should I make a wheel property in every object and initialize it? So what we do is that we remove it from the object. We name it static. If I declare a property as static, it no longer becomes a part of the object. It will be somewhere at the common area in the memory, wheels, and all the objects can access this property from this common location. I am removing it from the object by writing static. So static is not the part of the class. All right, fine. Now, how do we access static? You see, it's giving you a yellow warning that this wheels is static. It should not be accessed like this. Although it can, it's showing you a warning that It's not the part of the object. To access static, you have to access it with the name of the class. That is, say car dot wheels equals to 4. So all the objects will have 4 wheels. Static properties can be accessed directly with the name of the class. Non-static has to be accessed by creating the object of the class. Okay, static is common for all the objects. You can just write name of the class followed by the property. For non-static, you have to create the object. Any questions from anyone? The main use of creating a static stuff is that you don't put it in the object. Some things are common for all the objects. Okay, some things are common for all the objects. You make them static. This main function is static in nature. In the test car, this main function is static in nature. This is because when I run this program, internally this main function is called somewhat like test car dot main. Java can call it directly with the name of the class without creating the object of this class. You cannot include, you have to write static. It is mandatory in Java. So that whenever I run this program, this main function is directly called like test.main, testcar.main. Because static stuff can be accessed directly with the name of the class. Okay. Any questions? Hello? Was somebody speaking something? All right. Now, if you talk about Selenium, in Selenium everything is inbuilt. I'll create a new class known as Selenium Basics. How object creation helps us in Selenium, I'll talk about that now. Okay. Yes. On this line I write car.wheels is 4. So all the cars had 4 wheels. If on line number 18 if I write car.wheels is 5, then all the cars will have 5 wheels after the 18th line. Okay. Now in Selenium you create objects of and you create the objects of inbuilt classes which are present in the reference libraries jar files. To know about these classes, you can go inside the Java docs for Selenium. These are all the classes. Scroll down. These are all the classes, inbuilt classes in Selenium. I don't remember all of them, neither you need to remember. Okay, I'll tell you which all are the major ones and all. The most important thing is you need to know how to read this documentation. Okay, right. Now there is something known as WebDriver written over here. You click on this. Now these are the internal classes for every browser. Chrome driver, as the name suggests, it is for Chrome. Edge driver is for Edge. Firefox driver for Firefox. Internet Explorer driver Opera. So each of these driver classes is for one browser. Remote WebDriver is used in case of GRID. When we use GRID, we will use remote WebDriver. Safari driver, Opera driver, these are unstable. Okay, they give lot of issues. Basically for Chrome, Firefox and IE, okay, this tool will give you very good results, right? Okay, to work with these classes, for example, for Firefox, you need to create the object of the class Firefox driver. Okay, so you create the object Firefox driver and you import Firefox driver. And you need to download an exe for Firefox driver, which is Gecko driver exe. Okay, click on this link 0.18.0, open this and please download the file for your OS, Windows 32-bit, 64-bit, Mac OS. And once you download it, you have this geckodriver.exe with you. Okay, so all you need to do is that you need to write system dot set property WebDriver dot, you have to write this command and give the path of the exe. Don't run the exe, you will not get anything by running the Gecko driver exe. Okay, this Gecko driver is used to run Firefox. You need to set a system property. System is a class in Java which is internal, and set property is a static function inside it. It's a static function. You can directly call it with the name of the class. You write WebDriver dot, this is a standard command. Everything has to be in the lower case. Sometimes people put W capital over here and it gives you an error. Everything has to be in the lower case and the right path of the exe in your PC. Then you create the object of Firefox driver, and when you run this code, you will see that a blank Firefox will open up. Okay, if I write Firefox driver dot get, say to http yahoo.com, writing the protocol is important. So in the object of Firefox driver, there are lots of non-static functions. We will study about them. The get function is used to navigate to a URL, and you give the URL, mention the protocol. If you don't, it's not like QTP. In QTP you can omit, but in Selenium you have to give. And when you run this code, see, it goes to yahoo.com. Okay, right. So similarly for Chrome browser, you have Chrome driver .exe. If you look at this, you have the Chrome driver exe for Chrome. You need to create the object of Chrome driver, and for Chrome driver you have to download this exe 2.3.1 for your OS. For Windows 64-bit or 32-bit, you can download the 32-bit one as well. It will work on 64. It's there on my PC over here. Okay, so all you need to do is import Chrome driver and write the line system.set property webdriver.chrome.driver and the path to the exe, which is chromedriver.exe. Okay, make sure you give the current path. Method and function. Hold on, Pawan, I'll explain you in some time. Just a minute. And cd.get, you can give the URL. Ignore this red lines. These are, you can ignore it. It's just a general log. You don't have to worry what it is. Okay, right? And you can write http yahoo.com. And when you run this code, see it opens a Chrome and it goes to Yahoo on Chrome, right? For Internet Explorer, for I, you need to download another exe from here, Internet Explorer driver server, based on 32-bit Internet Explorer or 64-bit I. It's a bit version of I, not the PC. Okay, right. So you download this exe from here and okay, that's fine, right? So you keep it. I have kept it over here, iDriverServer.exe. For Internet Explorer driver, the class is, this is commenting, it will disable the line. The class is in, you just write say INTER in Eclipse. You know, you don't need to write the complete wordings and hit Control Spacebar. So it will name all the classes starting from INTER. And if you keep on typing, it will shortlist. You can select it from here, right? You can again write, okay, Control Spacebar. Fine, and you can give the command system.set property. In case of Internet Explorer driver, you have to write webdriver.i.driver and give the path of the exe, which is D drive in my case. In your case, you give your PC path, not mine. Okay. In my PC, I is not there. I have got Edge, right? So this won't work. But for I, there are few rules. The first rule is that make sure that zoom level in I is set to 100%. Otherwise, script will not run. And turn off protected mode in I. Just Google it out. Okay. Just Google it out that how do you turn off the protected mode in I. You will get the answer. Okay, it will give you how to do that. You have to make sure about these things in I can give problems at times if you don't have the admin rights over PC as well. These are the major drivers. Apart from that, there are other drivers as well. For example, you have got, as I told you, remote web driver. This will be doing when we'll be studying grid to run the test cases parallelly across different machines. Safari driver, Opera driver, Edge driver, they are not so stable. Event firing WebDriver, these days it is not used that much because we have got action classes and all. Basically, there are three drivers for which we'll be using Selenium majorly in the professional use as well. Okay, in the companies as well. Right. Okay, now there's a question being asked. What is the difference between method and function? Both are same. You call it a method or function, both are same. Okay. Now I have taught you about different drivers. Now the question arises whether we have to study these different drivers separately. If I have to click on a link in Firefox and if I have to click on the link in Chrome, will I be writing separate script? What if I want to make a single script which on my demand we should be able to run it on different browsers? Well, you can do all those things. I will be covering those tomorrow with the concept of interfaces. Okay, I think it's enough for today. It was the first day, right? So I'll stop for today. Okay.